Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday service of Now Creations. Let me begin by saying that it's just a pleasure to be with you here today, to be in the Creator's love, to know that wonderful presence within ourselves, to consciously live from this presence, and to invite others into the presence. What a joy. What a wonderful understanding of life this is, and how we're able to share it so beautifully. Having said that, just a couple of announcements today. I'd like to welcome all of you, of course, to our Monday night meditation from 7 to 8 o'clock. It's a wonderful, wonderful experience. But I'm also excited about two other things. First of all, on Friday afternoon, you would have received an email from Now Creations on our education outreach. It's a wonderful opportunity for you to stay at home and to be able to mentor children in the Indianapolis area. Just encourage you to read that, to understand what's involved with it, and perhaps to be able to share in the gifts you might be able to offer the children in that area. You do not have to be from that area in order to offer your gifts. And then the last thing is I'm really excited tonight about the testimonial. Our testimonial will be by Virgil Dominic. It'll begin at 6 o'clock and go to 7:30. Virgil is just a wonderful person, a former newscaster for NBC in Cleveland, and I think you'll thoroughly enjoy his presentation this evening. With that said, let's begin. It's been a great joy for me personally to receive your comments about the importance of meditation from last week's teaching. So many of you have noted how this daily practice of meditation is so vital in your lives. It kind of centers you for what goes on during the course of the day, and of course, during the course of weeks and months into the future. Some of you also had mentioned the fact that putting off the practice of meditation has been the root cause of some of your spiritual struggles. It's just so important to understand the relationship between meditation and daily living. It is obviously a lesson that more and more of us are learning quite well. But I must admit, there's another point in our meditation practice that will be the basis of the second teaching on the point of no returning to the ego. Let me explain. Within this past week, two people have mentioned that they have finally experienced the difference. They have finally experienced the difference between thinking and being conscious. Let me just say it again. Two people have experienced the difference between thinking and being conscious. Being able to experience the difference between thinking and being conscious, first of all, is quite an achievement. This achievement takes time. It takes time to be able to go within and to focus on your breathing. It takes time to go within and to settle the thoughts of your mind. It just takes time to enter into the quiet and there to experience the crown jewel of life, namely that we are conscious beings, that consciousness, self-awareness is what we truly are, that consciousness, self-awareness is how we experience life, and that our minds, our emotions, our body, our personality self, and our life circumstances are simply the vehicles through which we express our consciousness. Coming to this awareness is the most important thing to accomplish in life because it sets the tone for us to be our true selves and to live authentically. Just want to repeat that. Coming to understand this difference between thinking and consciousness is the most important thing to accomplish in life because it sets the tone for everything else that we do. Yet, There is more to consider than just realizing that we are conscious, self-aware beings. There is more to consider than just our minds, emotions, bodies, personalities, and life circumstances are the vehicles of this consciousness. The more that I want to present in this teaching is, first of all, to understand the primacy of the importance of consciousness, the primacy of the importance of consciousness, and then to present to you the 5 practical qualities of this primary relationship. This is exciting. Perhaps, again, you might want to take some notes. The most important thing to know about your consciousness, and let's just call it your soul self at the moment. The most important thing to know about your consciousness, your soul self, is that your soul consciousness is connected to the God consciousness. Let me say it again. Your soul consciousness, the inner you, is connected to the God consciousness. Although this truth has been stated so many times, such as the biblical teaching that you are made in the image and likeness of God, what is so wonderful now is that you are experiencing that you are of God. Did you ever think you would say, I am experiencing myself of God? When you ask yourself the question, what does it mean to be made in the image and likeness of God? You now know the answer. To be in the image and likeness of God is to be conscious, and to know that this consciousness, of which you are clearly aware, is a participation in the God consciousness, that your consciousness is that part of you that is of God, that your consciousness is that part of you that is of God, that your consciousness is the very same spiritual energy as the God consciousness. No one can make you believe this, that you can experience it. Regardless of how many times you hear the words that you are made in the image and likeness of God, that you are of God, that you are consubstantial with God, you will not accept it until you enter into the consciousness of your soul, until you realize that you are connected with the God energy and that it is the crown jewel of life. It is the crown jewel of life. That is why the distinction between thinking and consciousness is so very important. Well, now you have every right to ask the question, how do I know that my conscious connection to the God Spirit is the crown jewel to be sought in life? That's a good question. Let me give you a pretty good answer. I will now suggest to you the 5 results of your soul's primary connection to the God consciousness so that you can make the choice. You can decide whether or not you choose to live in this connected energy or to live in a sense in an unconnected way, simply being off on your own. It's always important to test the results. Test the results. However, once you test the results and you have a pretty good understanding of what it means to be connected to the God consciousness, let me suggest you might want to follow these results. Please consider these 5 points. The first result, this consciousness of which we are aware has become a presence for you. This consciousness of which you're aware has now become a sense of self for you. It's now that the God consciousness or the God presence has become your consciousness. The God presence has become your presence. Is this not true? This presence is that unmistakable energy within ourselves that we know that we are in that God spirit. This presence is now our, what I like to call our check-in point. It's our check-in point. Rather than bringing our old personality selves to a situation, we are now bringing this conscious presence to whatever we are engaged in. It's our check-in point. Eckhart Tolle wrote a whole book on this conscious presence. He simply called it the power of now. He could just as easily have called it the power of presence, your presence. For many of us, and for more and more of us, this presence truly is becoming our all the time presence. It's our eyes opened, walking around in the world sense of self. Our sense of self-presence is really now of the God presence. And we are showing up consciously as this presence right now. Are we not? Secondly, this is a very important point. This presence has now become devotional. By this, I mean that we have become devoted to this presence. We regard this presence as our most cherished sense of self. And so we desire to be in this energy because it has become who we truly are. Thus, we are now happily willing. Notice that I said, we are happily willing to do all of the things necessary to sustain this presence because we realize its incredible value. It is, as Jesus said, the pearl of great price. It's the crown jewel. It is the most important thing to know and practice in life. As the commercial says, everything else you can get with MasterCard, but you can't get this presence. It's an inner knowing. Because we understand the value of this presence, we happily engage. Notice again, I said we happily engage in our personal spiritual practice, as well as our group study, in our group sessions. We are devoted to the presence. We are devoted to the presence for what it does for us. For what it does for us, which is the third result. So what exactly does this presence do for you? In a nutshell, I would suggest it keeps you safe and secure. Keeps you safe and secure. We all face challenges in life, and at times we are very vulnerable to these challenges. Sometimes it is a struggle to keep our heads above water, but not so much anymore. Not so much anymore, because we know the power of this conscious presence. We have been able to experience again and again the truth of this saying, the power within you is greater than any problem you will ever face. The power within you keeps you safe and secure to deal with the problems that come up in life. This power within is the basis for all of the addiction programs. After acknowledging one's addiction, which is the first step in any 12-step process, the second step is always, there's a power within you that can deal with it, to heal the addiction. I don't think we have old addictions anymore, but we clearly recognize the importance of staying daily devoted to that powerful presence within us. We have made the second step of addiction our first step. Our first step each day is to be in this presence because, well, it keeps us safe, secure, and perhaps maybe smiling a little bit more. The fourth result. The fourth result follows from the third one. Not only does the present guide us with the knowledge and power to deal with our daily life situations, but it also gives us a confidence and a certitude about our future. This is so very important, our futures. It gives us a knowing that this presence within us is now giving us a definite guidance for the choices we will make in our future. Our future is the future. We certainly don't know all of the details of what the universe has in store for us, but we do know this. We know that we will confidently move into our future with the absolute certitude that we are guided by the conscious presence within us. Our futures will not be blind, but confidently intuited from the inner presence. I just want to assure you of this. Your future is not going to be blind. Rather, it will be confidently intuitive from the inner presence. What joy awaits us as we proceed from this conscious inner presence. The fifth practical result follows from the fourth one. Not only do we feel a personal confidence in going forward, but we also sense, and it's a growing sense, of going forward as a group under the universal principle of oneness. Let me explain. Many of us, especially in our group sessions with Now Creations, are experiencing a genuine sense of support and caring from other members of the group. Let me just say this again. In our group sessions, many of us are experiencing a genuine sense of support and caring from the other members. Notice I said a genuine sense of support and caring. We are very happy to be with people not just of like mind, but truly with people of like spirit. I feel that we are all experiencing the inspiration of sincere, loving people, extending ourselves to each other. This is a rare gift, to be with a group of people who are moving together in awareness. We are growing together. And moreover, this growing together is under the universal value of oneness, not only with the members of Now Creations, but also with an inclusivity of all others, regardless of where they are in mind or spirit. Even as I say these words, it's nice to be with you in oneness. Isn't there a joy? Isn't there an energy that just comes? It comes from the presence. When I say oneness, it comes from the presence within each one of us. This is marvelous, marvelous. We are one family. We are all children of the oneness. And we are all capable of the presence that you and I are joyfully modeling to all the members of our household. In conclusion, let me say how powerful this presence is within us, to which we are devoted, because it makes us feel safe and secure for our futures and secure in the family of humanity. There is much more to come. We are not ever going to return to the ego. It is a point of no return because we are in the presence. Let me now take you into meditation, and what a joy it is to do so. Let's begin as we normally do, simply with the intention of being in the presence, knowing that that presence within us is the crown jewel of all life. Let's begin, therefore, as we normally do, by simply focusing on the breath and allowing the breath to truly do what it does to calm the body, settle the mind, and to bring your soul to the fore. Please begin. And would you simply now say to yourself, well, here I am. Here I am. This is the inner me. This is my soul self. Take a moment to realize what you just said. This is my soul self. In which you add now this phrase, this is me. This is me. This is the inner me. This is me. In which you say to yourself again, here I am. Here I am. Yep, this is me. Did you notice how you had to quiet yourself to become you? It's so easy to think you're a voice in your head, thinking again. No, that's not you. You are the inner you. You are your soul. So, and would you now say to yourself, I am conscious of my soul self. I am conscious. I am self-aware. And take a moment to allow this to be felt. Get out of your head. Let's proceed. The inner you is aware that it is creating its reality by the choices it is making. You, I, we are creating our reality by the choices we make from the understanding and wisdom of life that we know. You know this. What you might not know is that you now have a choice to connect with the universal life energy. You have a choice to connect with the God Spirit. It's a choice. That choice boils down to your consciousness, that your consciousness is a participation in the God consciousness. I'll say it again. Your consciousness is a participation in the God consciousness. Your participation in the God consciousness is the crown jewel. It takes some practice. But once you do it, you realize that it is the crown jewel. It's you being fully conscious. You have a right to ask, why should I do this? Let's briefly review those 5 things. First of all, it's a presence. It's a presence that is becoming more and more you. You are growing in this presence. It's your check-in point.
I just don't see that to be the case. Something else is going on.
This is powerful. Before you do anything else, you check in with this presence and allow it to be your guidance. And did I mention that it works every time? Although it will challenge you to release your old habits, mental and emotional, physical, that no longer fit. Secondly, you're devoted to it now. You're devoted to it. because it works. When you do your daily spiritual practice and also join with others, you just realize that this presence is what really is guiding you in life. It just works. Why would you not be devoted to it? What else has ever worked for you better than this presence? This is your of Godness. That third thing, it keeps you safe and secure. We all have the challenges, usually of our own making, but they are challenges. And it's so nice to know that we have the power within us to meet those challenges, to be able to deal effectively with what is occurring. The power within you is greater than any problem you're ever going to face. As well it should be. Wouldn't be much of a power if it couldn't solve your problems. But if it does, why would you not use it all the time? That fourth point, we don't know the details of our future, but we know the guidance that moves us forward. It's the confidence and the guidance. We have to remind each other of this. So easy to go to your mind and say, yes, but what if this and what if that? As opposed to being guided with certainty, being guided with certainty. Your life is not over. You're not heading out into the sunset. You're moving into the sunrise. You're moving into the east of the rising sun. And that last thing, so nice to do this with others. Just to know that we're all part of something much bigger. Much, much, much bigger. And we can call upon each other for assistance and guidance in our lives. It is rare to feel genuinely supportive and caring of the members of our groups. You are making this happen. So in a brief moment, we're going to be playing the song Namaste. Would you simply acknowledge the Namaste within yourself, your of Godness, and then of course recognize it in others. And may we just see everything as one unified presence.
Deep within, peace resides, faith abounds, and love abides. The light shines bright to illuminate love without, love within. I honor thee, I honor thee.
a great song. It's a great song. It's really great because it honors the greatness within each one of us, our of Godness. May we just go forth as a joyful presence, realizing the presence that we all share. Namaste, dear ones. Namaste.